Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, Kenyon Martin is on set to discuss the blockbuster Blake Griffin trade. Plus, Todd Gurley stops by to talk about his MVP caliber season and the upcoming Super Bowl. And is this the final year of the Brady-Belichick partnership? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. In a shocking move yesterday, the Clippers traded Blake Griffin to the Pistons for 3 players, including Tobias Harris and Avery Bradley, and draft picks. Reportedly, talks between the teams started nearly a week ago, even though Griffin signed a 5-year, $171 million deal last July. He's averaging nearly 23 points per game this season. We're joined by former NBA All-Star Kenyon Martin and former teammate of Blake's. Welcome back, Kenyon.
Yeah.
Good to have you. How surprised were you by the trade?
Very shocked. Like a lot of people were. You know what I'm saying? No, you pay a guy franchise money, franchise player money. You think you're going to ride it out with him. You're going to build around him. All the talks lately have been about DeAndre being moved. You know, but shocking move, especially on Doc's behalf. You know, but maybe they know something we don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. As you mentioned, Kmart, here's a guy that signed 5 years, $171 million. Not trade him after the season. They traded him during the season in which he signed this mammoth deal.
Yeah.
I guess they had seen enough. Trying to build around him, paying him $35 million a season, and to be the 8th or the 9th seed, possibly be in the luxury tax moving forward to miss the playoffs. Most owners don't have a problem. Now, some have a problem. But a lot of the owners, like, if we're going to contend for a title, I got no problem spending max dollars being in the luxury tax. But for an 8th or 9th seed, with no. I'm not doing that. I don't look at Blake Griffin as a guy that's going to change the fortunes of someone. So what are they going to be, 5th or 6th seed in Detroit? They're not going to challenge Cleveland. They're not going to challenge Boston or Toronto. And so I get why they did it, Skip, because as you mentioned, the arena is not selling out. They needed a big name to try to put some butts in the seats.
Definitely.
But Blake, you're like, oh man, we get Blake, we in the money. Now, what guys are like, man, if they can get Blake, they're going to be in the money. They're going to really challenge the Warriors, or they're going to really challenge the Celtics or the Cavs. Said no one ever.
They're going to be in the money because they're going to owe him $35 million.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, Skip, it's 4 years.
Right.
The last year, the 5th year, the player option for $39.1.
Whew. Ain't going to take that option. I'm taking it right now. Listen, I'm going to call him right now. So you can go and ink that for 5 years from now.
So I want to take Mr. Martin back to that year that he played with Blake Griffin, 2011, 2012 Clippers. And I want to list the players on this team. Think of this roster, because it was pretty good. You went 40-26. The fate of the team was it beat the Grizzlies in 7 in the first round and got swept by the Spurs in the second round. Yeah. Okay, but listen to this collection, okay? In order of scoring on this team: Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, Caron Butler, Randy Foye, Mo Williams, DeAndre Jordan, Chauncey Billups, that guy Kenyon Martin, Nick Young, and Eric Bledsoe are on that team. That's a loaded roster. Now, some guys are a little too young, and some guys might be a little too old, you could argue, right? But still, that's a pretty good team, coached by Vinny Del Negro, right?
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof. There you go. Touche. Okay, so what Blake led you and scored 20.7 and 10.9 rebounds. So he's your lead guy. Okay, 20 and 10.
Definitely.
21 and 10 if you want to round up. What did you see or not see in Blake Griffin, and that was his full year in the league?
What I saw then, I thought he was a young animal then.
Okay.
He was determined. We worked at his game relentlessly, him and DeAndre. But Blake, he was we thought somebody that had a bright future in this league, which he did. Developed a jump shot now. You know, I think that's what he worked at mostly. I'm saying was that jump shot. He was a good kid. It was fun to be around, good energy. You know, I never saw a problem then. Now maybe different. He's grown up, coming into his own. Maybe he's voicing things a little more. Maybe it's a little tougher to be around. I don't know. I'm saying because I haven't been around, but he's still doing what he needs to do on the court.
So Jerry West took over the Clippers now as the overseer, and he obviously didn't see some things in Blake and thought they'd way overpaid for what he is. I've always thought something's missing in him intangibly, leadership, whatever it is, whatever that thing is to drive a team to a title. He's never been that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, is that did you?
Yeah, definitely. No, he's not the.
He ain't the lead dog.
He's not the voice. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? He's going to go out. He's going to play basketball. That's what he does. There's a lot of guys in those locker rooms that's all they do. You know what I'm saying they're there to play basketball. They're not big talkers, but they're going to get the job done.
Okay.
You know, he was not the guy that's going to bring everybody in if things getting tough and call a team meeting. I'm saying that's not him. But he's going to show up. He's going to do his job like he did.
Okay, so Jerry West said once he took over and Doc Rivers had total control of the franchise, and then they gave it mostly to Jerry West, and he said, man, because they just did it, and they wined and dined him and wooed him and big presentation and said, we want you to be a Clipper for life, and hung all these pictures at Staples, and then they did a mock raising of his jersey up into the rafters.
What else? Clipper life had a short shelf life. It was 6 months.
Yeah. And Jerry West said, no, that won't work. We're going nowhere slowly with him as our centerpiece. And they were shocked that Detroit wanted to do anything because they couldn't move him to anybody because nobody wanted that contract except the Pistons, who have a new arena downtown that they can't fill. So now they have a marquee value guy. But to your point, I think they'll go nowhere slowly. They just have a drawing card. That's basically what they have. And the Clippers got back Tobias Harris, who's a nice. He's just a decent player. I like him.
Yeah.
But do you love him? No, you don't love him. But he's a decent piece. And he's only 25, and I think he's only making like $16 million.
Yeah.
So you can swallow that. And
Avery Bradley.
he hasn't been good in Detroit, but I do think he can defend at a high
defend.
He
level.
played for Doc.
Yeah.
Played for Doc in
Okay.
Boston.
He played for Doc in Boston. Good point. So you get a first and a second. Now you got 2 firsts this year, and they open up a slot, and Jerry West will make a pitch to LeBron James.
And
he
it might have another first
He
round
might.
because they looking to move DeAndre, they're looking to move Lou Williams. But here's the thing: why is it that everybody perceives Blake as being soft? Because guys will challenge him when they won't challenge some of the other bigs.
Because some of the fouls and some of the things that people have said to him during the course of games,
Right.
there's been no reaction to.
Right.
So when you let people talk to you a certain way or foul you a certain way,
Right.
then people look at you like they can do whatever. They look
Right.
at you as soft.
Right.
There was an instance when we were playing New Orleans, the kid Jason Smith took Blake out.
Right.
Listen, got kicked out of the game and went off the court doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So you should.
I would have ran after him.
But
Seriously, if that's me, I'm chasing him down.
But he wouldn't have fouled you like that.
Exactly,
to
start it. But if he had taken it that far, I'm gonna run after him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not finna knock, and I'm laying on the ground potentially hurt.
And you pumping up the crowd.
Nah, it ain't gonna work.
But you know what happened? What's going on? What's going on, Joy Taylor? Tell the people at home what's going on.
No, you tell the people at home what's going on.
Who is he dating, Skip? Kardashian.
I knew it was coming.
Hey, look
Okay.
at James Harden.
You just call him
James
spade a
Harden been the second, but the best 2 guard in the NBA.
Just call him spade a spade.
I'm telling you, we get DeAndre Jordan. I don't care what you got to give up. Give LeBron, give him your house.
Okay. So this is interesting to me because I'm a University of Oklahoma fan, both football and basketball. So I watched every game Blake Griffin played at Oklahoma. He stayed for 2 years. He didn't come out after the first year. And he had his older brother as his protector on that team. But the Big 12 book on him in college was just rough him up.
Yeah.
And he'll shrink because he's 6'10", and he'd start playing smaller and smaller because you could go at him hard and he would not respond.
Well, against Memphis in that series, they got DeAndre and Blake, and they got myself and Reggie Evans.
Okay.
So the game getting tough.
Right.
Vinny getting ready to sub. Chauncey being the guy he is, tell Vinny, listen, if you're trying to win this series in this game, you'll leave Kenyon and Reggie in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what it is.
Yeah.
So you know what you're going to get. I'm saying, because the way Zebo looked at Blake at the time.
Was that when he was at the foul line and grabbed the package right next to it?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Oh, that was that.
all
I
that.
forgot about that.
How you come on?
Like, hey, man, there's certain guys they know they can get away with it, man.
And so Vinny put Blake back.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he rolled with me and Reggie, and we won the series. That was game 7.
Okay.
So, no, it's just things like that
Then
people look
what
at
happened
you a
against the
certain way.
Spurs?
It was a better team. Spurs were a better team.
They were better.
Better coach.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's what it is.
Way better coach.
Way better coach. You know what I'm saying?
But But I've never seen anything like this, Skip. I don't know if you've covered it and you've been around free agents to get this kind of money, and basically 3-4 months into the deal, you're like, no, we've seen enough. Yeah. After you what you mentioned, Skip, after all the song and dance, what you did to get him.
They did a number, man.
Yes.
It was a big presentation, and Steve Ballmer was the driving force.
Yeah, with cheerleaders and everybody pom-poms and pyrotechnics going off in it. But I told you.
It's deeper than what we all know.
Okay, but
it has to be.
Jerry West was not in charge at that point. Right. Doc was in charge. He had both he was a coach and the GM. Yeah. Then he got the GM taken away from him, and Jerry West said, we got to get out from under. And again, Jerry West is a guy I don't bet against.
No.
He drafted Kobe Bryant, and he lured Shaquille O'Neal out of Orlando to Los Angeles, and that worked out pretty well. And he hired Phil Jackson to coach him, and that turned out pretty well. He went to Memphis and turned that whole franchise around. He went to Golden State, and behind the scenes, he was a driving force of building this dynasty in Golden State. And now Ballmer hired him to rebuild.
Give us DeAndre Jordan and Lou Williams. For Tristan Thompson.
He is nobody's fool. You want him to act the fool.
What's the deal we can make?
Yeah, they're going to have to give up, I think they give up Tristan. I give up Kevin Love as well.
No!
I would.
No! We need Kevin Love. No, what about we give him Isaiah? TT, IT, and Shump.
I'm with that.
And there you go. See, we got the deal. Call me up, Jerry. I got this for you.
You got a Brooklyn first-round pick, and that is the linchpin.
They're starting over.
We'll give you Cleveland. We'll give you our first-round pick.
Plus, Tristan doesn't solve the Kardashian problem.
Yeah, they definitely got to give up a first round. They got to give up.
Yeah, we'll give my first round pick.
No, that ain't going to work. They got to give up that Brooklyn pick.
Yeah.
No, we know what that's going to be.
No, we got to get what's
that's top 5.
LeBron's leaving.
Yeah.
Why?
We're trying to win a championship. If we win a championship this year, we'll stay.
Well, it's catch-23, right? It's just like you can't do it because Dan Gilbert's got to protect himself when you.
Well, I got to protect myself.
Oh, okay.
Me and Braun, we got to protect ourselves with Rich Paul.
No mercy. Our next guest led the NFL with 19 touchdowns this season, and he was named the DraftKings MVP. Todd Gurley, welcome back to Undisputed.
How y'all doing?
Wow.
Very good. Lots to talk about, but first, tell us what you're doing with DraftKings.
Right now, I'm just presenting my awards. I won Mr. Consistency, MVP, Most Improved, and Best Single Game Performance. And then they also have a new product for Super Bowl. It's called Showdown. It's the first time ever they're doing it. Where you can pick 6 players from each team, 4 on offense, 2 on defense, and unlike, the whole season, you watch every game, you just watch this one game. So it'll be a cool thing to do for the Super Bowl.
Did you win that award for the outstanding performance against the Cowboys?
Nah, not the Cowboys.
But you got a good award against them.
By the way, I'm glad you brought that up
me.
because I wanted to tell this man I did not appreciate the 53-yard catch and run that you stuck down our throats in the second half at Jerry World that turned the tide in that game that we led at halftime 24-13, and all of a sudden it was 26-24 because of him.
You got to blame Kareem Hunt for that, man. I seen that play, and I was like,
did you?
I need that,
you
coach.
got that? But, of course, there was no Sean Lee at linebacker, so you just abused who was out there. I don't even know who was out there.
You know.
It's pretty easy, right?
Yes,
just
sir.
opened up like the Red Sea, and you just...
He said it would have made a difference if Sean Lee, Michelle Lee, Spike Lee.
Don't matter, huh?
Yeah, it wouldn't matter.
So, about a year ago, you sat right in the same seat. Things weren't going that great for you. Kind of been hit and miss, and then all of a sudden, things changed. You obviously had one big change, coaches. But what changed for you from that point to this point?
Obviously, we added some new pieces to the offense, but, just having the year that we had last year, we didn't want to have that again. So just locked in last offseason, just worked super hard.
Change things? Change your
Diet,
regimen,
training program?
Not diet, but just training. As far as training, I just tried everything. I did the speed, I did the agility, I did the hills, I did the sand. I did Pilates, I did yoga. I was just trying all different types of stuff, but just making sure I was, just
Did it
trying
work?
to work.
Well,
Yeah,
What about the differences? You had Jeff Fisher for 2 years. Sean McVay comes in, you win your division, you make the playoffs. What's the difference between these two coaches?
Coach McVay, he's just such a offensive-minded coach. He's just he's a smart guy. He just knows offenses, he knows defenses, and just how he changed the whole offense around. Obviously last year we were, last in offense, and this year we were number one. So for a coach to come in and do that, and, we knew we still had it in us, but, if you don't do it, you don't know. So for him to come in and just put all those tools and weapons together, it was crazy.
So philosophically, it was very different under this coach versus your previous coach?
I mean, you could say that. It was just,
Well, you said the old offense was high schoolish. That's what you said. I don't know who said it, but Todd.
We were playing like one. We were playing like one, and we wasn't playing good, and it was just a rough game after that game. Man. It said some words, but man, it came a long way for sure from last year to this year, and we're just happy to get better this year.
You said after the last game of the season, would you have wanted to win that rushing title?
Oh, most definitely. Me and Hunt, we had a conversation. We was talking about it. I'm like, man, congrats. But, we all wanted it. Most definitely for sure. Because, that's what you dream of. That's what you work hard every day in the off season to accomplish goals like that. But it's all good. It's all good.
You get them this year, huh?
Yeah, it's all good.
So you exploded in your last 5 games in your combined yards from scrimmage. Can you make a case that you should win the MVP?
It's not really a case. It's just, it is what it is. You go out there and you put the numbers up or you don't. So, and just kind of let the writers or the fans vote on that and, just let the rest handle itself.
You believe you deserve it?
Yeah, most definitely. I felt like, I worked hard this season. My teammates helped me get it. And obviously we made big improvements. I don't know if, what factors in the MVP, but I felt like, me and my teammates, we worked hard to push me to get there, and we accomplished a lot.
You realize you're now in the same breath with that quarterback up in Foxborough now?
Yeah, I know.
It's going to come down to you two.
Yeah.
And it's you versus Tom Brady, which is pretty cool, right?
And he's always winning, huh?
I don't know. I don't know. There's still some resentment of him. I don't know. I think a lot of voters would say, he's had enough. He's had a great enough run, right? And you were like fantasy football heaven. You won a lot of leagues for a lot of fantasy players, right?
Yes, I got some more fans out there.
I don't know do they have MVP votes? I'm not sure. If they do, I think you're good.
Yeah. If they do, I definitely should be good.
I think Pepsi do a fan vote for MVP. But
Okay.
what's with you is jumping? Why you always? Were you a hurdler in high school?
Yeah, I did the hurdles in high school.
Okay, because you be hurdling everybody.
I don't know why I do it, man. It's just like even after the play, I'd come over to the sideline and be like, man, why did I just do that? It's just first thing that comes.
Well, does it benefit or not, or is it too dangerous? Is it?
One day it's probably gonna end bad, but until then I'm gonna keep jumping. But
Because you see the guy going low and then.
Yeah, for most part it's more DBs. Most DBs are not gonna hit a running back high, especially if they're going 100 miles per hour fast at them. So it's just kind of a reaction, and for the most part it's been working.
So you saw the Philadelphia Eagles up close and personal. It's your place. What shot do you give them against Brady and Belichick?
I give those guys a great shot. I have a great defense. The DBs are playing incredible, and they have Fletcher Cox. He's wrecking havoc. And then, you got Chris Long, guys that's coming in there and just making plays at the right time. And, their offense is incredible. They got 2 great running backs. They got Nick Foles. He's playing good. He's always been able to play good as someone who's come in, when sometimes get hurt. So I think they can. Definitely think they can do it. I definitely think
Is
they
that
can do
the
it.
toughest defense you faced?
No, Minnesota.
Minnesota. You had a hard time out
Oh
there.
man, yeah.
And-
Real hard time. Real hard time.
But Nick Foles did not have a hard time against them at his place.
Yeah. No, he didn't. So I think they can do it, man. I think the Eagles can do it.
As you sit back and you went to the Pro Bowl last week, but the Pro Bowl is nice, but that's not the game you really want to play in. You want to be playing on this Sunday. What do you and the Rams need to do to make sure in 2019 your guys in Atlanta getting ready for the Super Bowl?
Just lock in. Lock in. Obviously, to be able, you got to have a little luck on your side with injuries and all that, but just lock in, and next playoffs, we know what they expect. We know the atmosphere, but we know the expectation that we want, and we don't want to be able to lose again in the first round next year or whatever that case is. So just come in with that hungry mindset and just have that one goal, you know, not to be playing in February.
So, as Shannon points out, you did play in the Pro Bowl, and as I recall, I think you got the first carry of the game, right? Wasn't it called to you? I think it was. So, what can we do to improve this game? Did they try to tackle you?
It was a good game. You didn't think it was a good game?
Thought I watched the whole thing.
We let them come back and all, man. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Did anybody hit you half hard? Did they? How were they tackling you? Were they?
No, they were trying to strip the ball off for sure.
Just trying to strip the ball.
Once that fourth quarter,
it looked like there was more wrestling than tackling.
Once
like
the fourth quarter
like,
came and that money was on the line, it was they was
no,
out there hitting Deion Jones, Quan, everybody. It was out there.
That's normally how it happens. The fourth quarter rolls around, and then you're not supposed to blitz, you're not supposed to stunt, you're not supposed to do a lot of things, but that money.
And we got Vaughn cheating, you know, just getting off the ball. It's all good though.
Well, Todd, thanks so much for joining us. Congrats on a great season.
Good luck.
No mercy. We're just 5 days away from the Super Bowl, which is Bill Belichick and Tom Brady's 8th together. Yesterday, Robert Kraft talked about how difficult it is to keep a dynasty like New England's together. Kraft said, continuity is so hard. I don't know that there's any other relationship like that in the NFL with a head coach or a quarterback. To have both of them, we're pretty lucky up in New England. Shannon, how much longer will the Patriots dynasty last?
I believe Tom Brady plays to the end of his contract, which he has 2 more years remaining. Before I go any further, Skip, the reason why it's been able to last so long is that you've had a quarterback that's been at the top of his game for, let's say, the last 15 years. He suffered 1 injury. He played every game up until that injury. He's played every game since the injury. So he hasn't had those nagging injuries. He has a coach that's very motivated, that's very situational based, that knows every ins and out and knows the game in and out. Plus, Mr. Kraft, here's the kicker. You've allowed Coach Belichick to have carte blanche power. This was the first time that that's been challenged.
That is
so
correct.
This is why he's talking now, Skip, because he knows. You could all this. They released a statement, and then he comes out a couple of days later, or a week later, a week or 2 later, talking about egos got to get in check. He knows Coach Belichick is a prideful man. He's done everything. He's like, I've shot, I've made moves. We've lost guys, we've lost coaches. I've been able to maintain this thing together. And just this one time, you've challenged me like I don't know what I'm doing. So that's why he's doing all this talking like we're pretty lucky, like, oh, Coach Belichick, we were lucky to have Coach Belichick. We got the top quarterback, top player, top coach. I get why he's doing all that. But to go back, Skip, I believe Tom Brady will play 2 more years. I believe, and I'm not saying that it's easy to coach, but it's easier to coach than to take Von Miller helmet in your back. So that's why I believe Coach Belichick will outlast Tom Brady. I believe, you believe, that this was going to be Tom's last year.
When Belichick had his run.
Yes. Win, lose, or draw, because he believed that he had finally found the bridge to go from Tom Brady into the future, which was Jimmy Garoppolo. And he's like, you know what? I just went one of these things. Without Tom Brady, like Tom Brady dropped the mic yesterday, Joy, Coach Belichick drops the mic. That's what he wanted to have happen. But Mr. Kraft threw a monkey wrench in his program and said, no. Okay. You will do this. Tom, I believe, and it's also easier to coach at 67. Coach Belichick is 65 now. I believe it's easier to coach 67, 68 than it is to play football at 42, 43.
Unless you're Tom Brady, but go ahead.
Even if you're Tom Brady. I just think the way it's situated right now, I just think Coach Belichick outlasts Tom in this situation. Now, unforeseen injury, something happened, knuckle, wood. Hopefully nothing happens to Tom in the Super Bowl. But unless an unforeseen injury could speed this process up. But I see it going 2 years max. Tom Brady and this Belichick dynasty will go their separate ways. I believe Coach Belichick stays. Tom Brady retires 20 years with one organization.
This is my view of inside Shannon Sharpe. I believe that deep, deep, deep down in your innermost psyche, you're rooting for Tom Brady to not get badly hurt, but something to go wrong for Tom Brady.
No.
Just because I sit over every day saying he's going to play for 4 more years.
No.
Right? I'm knocking on wood again.
No, that's why I'm knocking on wood.
Okay.
I just don't see it, Skip. And when you play as hard, and that's the whole thing. When you're a great athlete, Skip, yeah, you want numbers, you want it. But the first thing that I would always check, I put health first because I felt if I had my health, everything else would fall into place.
I put health first now in my
Yeah,
situation.
I definitely do
Yeah,
it.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Right? Okay. So, to your point, the ball is now strictly in Bill Belichick's court. That's the way I view this. He lost the power struggle to his quarterback and to his owner. And I give Robert Kraft credit for overseeing this continuity that he spoke of. And he is very lucky because it's just 1,000,000,000 to 1 that you could continue this kind of continuity between two very successful quarterback coach combination. Because you can't continue your continuity if one's no good and the other one's worse, right?
Correct.
Because then you have to know when to pull the plug.
Right.
But the buck always stops with the owner. He has to make a decision. Am I going to stay with this guy or not stay with this guy? And it would have been very interesting to see what Robert Kraft would have done if there had been no Tom Brady, if he hadn't fallen out of heaven into the 6th round. What if it's Drew Bledsoe? What if they, after Belichick had gone 5-11 the first year, in that second year, they're 0-2 when Bledsoe got hurt, enter Tom Brady, rest is Super Bowl history. What if Bledsoe doesn't get hurt? I don't know what happens.
No.
How long
No.
do you stick with Bill Belichick? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, but the point is, he stuck, and it worked. But now, Bill Belichick, in my view, is quote-unquote stuck with Tom Brady. Because I'm with you. I think he wanted to go forward with his quote-unquote son, Jimmy G, next year.
Yes.
And let Tom walk into the sunset and finish wherever he wanted. Maybe it would be San Francisco, back in his home area from San Mateo. And who knows where it might have been, but that he would have done the Montana to Kansas City route to end his career. But Robert Kraft said, nope, I'm going to bet on number 12. And it had to be crushing to you don't think Bill Belichick's got as big an ego as Tom Brady does or anybody else?
To do what he's done, because every move that's been made in New England.
Every move.
Is him.
It
He's
is.
moved every piece on the chessboard. He's made it.
Yeah. So, mandate, decree, you will trade Jimmy Garoppolo. And now it's up to Belichick to say, okay, you're the boss. But nobody knows his exact contractual situation except that there are estimates he makes like 12.5 a year,
15,
whatever, which is
whatever it is, it's not
he
enough.
deserves it. I agree. So, I was waiting to see about the Giants. Do I think the Mara family in some way, shape, or form reached out or just put out feelers just to see what was going on with that? Because that would be the job because he obviously was a coordinator under Parcells for Super Bowl. And I kept thinking, is there any way he would walk away to New York to finish his career as the Giants coach? And they go for Pat Shurmur? Really? Okay, so that's gone. So every opening is filled.
Yeah, but Skip, I don't see how he. Do you understand what the Patriots would have wanted in return?
Okay.
They gave up a first rounder to get him with none of this.
I think that would have to be negotiated where it would be clear that Bill wanted out.
Yeah.
And you couldn't hold the Giants hostage. You would have to let Bill walk. You would have to give him a parting gift of, I won't ask for extraordinary compensation back. Because there have been reports he would want 3 first-round picks back for Bill Belichick. Okay, great. But then nobody's going to take Bill Belichick. Right. And if Belichick wants out, you could negotiate your way free. Well, it appears they're together, stuck together for one more year. Now, to me, Bill Belichick's the luckiest coach in the history of football because he's had Tom Brady the whole way. And I think Tom Brady is the ultimate eraser that Belichick can do whatever he wants. He can try this, try that, try this. And some of them are mistakes, but they get erased in fourth quarters because the quarterback is so good, he'll just pull you out of the hole.
Right.
Okay?
And I think the thing is, Skip, is that plus he's had Tom for so long. And I think this is why Coach Belichick gets the credit that he deserves, is that we've seen great coaches have, Chuck Noll and Terry Bradshaw were together for a long period of time. And they had.
But not like this.
They had they had a lot more Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And they didn't win like the Patriots win. And in the advent of free agency, when guys can move, guys couldn't move back then.
True.
So, Coach, that's why I give Coach Belichick so much credit, because when I first got into the league, there was really no free agency like we see it now.
Nope.
There was this thing called Plan B. You got to protect X amount of players, and then everybody else that was left unprotected, got someone, other teams got an opportunity to sign. But the way it is right now, Skip, it's hard for me to believe that Coach Belichick would walk away from what he's built, because he's built this. He says, I've built this for the ground up. I knew granted, they went to the Super Bowl in '96. But there were a lot of lean years between when they went to the Super Bowl in '85 and when they went back again in '96. There were a lot of lean years, and there were some lean years after that. But Coach Belichick has built this. I see 2 more years, this marriage staying together. And there have been tough times. I mean, there's no, even in marriages, there have been times that maybe one of the parties wanted out. Like Rob. Even Rob, the honeymoon was great for Rob, and guess what happens, Gibby? Came back from Japan and
that was it. Yeah.
Rob, you hear Skip telling your business?
No, you hear Shannon telling your business. So I believe that Tom Brady is going to play for 4 more years, given, knock on wood, health. Like,
You think Tom Brady's gonna play for the 44?
I just do. Well, he said it. You're gonna bet that. I'm gonna tell you again. One guy I don't bet against is Tom Brady. And one thing I've learned from the documentaries that we've seen now, Tom versus Time. We're gonna talk in a little bit about episode 2, but in episode 1 at the end, he said, I'm gonna paraphrase, I've learned so much. I know so much more now than I ever knew before, and I'm playing at as high a level as I've ever played at. Why would I stop? Well, he's on fire to get better. We're going to talk about it a little later with my friend Tom House and the sort of the throwing mechanics guru that we saw in the episode 2. So he's spending off-season time with Tom House trying to improve 1% on his delivery. Well, he's obsessed with it. He's possessed to get better and better, and it's fun for him. The fire didn't go out. It seems to be raging inside him higher and higher. Okay? So your fire went out, right?
Yeah, I mean, so if he says it, let's see, who am I? I'm Denzel. Let's see. No, I'm Jeff Bezos. No, no, Skip, just because he says something doesn't mean it's gonna be true.
Well, again, it's one guy I've learned, you don't bet against this guy. And if he says it, I'm gonna buy it. And if he's going to be
Yeah, because you bought those pajamas. You bought that mattress. I'm surprised you ain't bought that vanquish.
I didn't buy a mattress. Ernestine bought me a recovery top from Under Armour because Tom Brady said it worked, and she said, well, maybe it works. And I wore it one
Ernestine,
time.
you fell for that? I can't believe Ernestine fell for that gimmick.
She did. But
you
it's
got
okay.
the mattress, you got the shoes.
I don't have anything. I have nothing in my house except that one top.
You got a picture of Tom Brady.
I don't have any pictures of Tom Brady. I don't even like him off the field.
You have LeBron sheets.
You have
and a
sheets.
comforter.
Yes.
And a pillow with his face on it.
Right.
I don't remember.
And LeBron couldn't carry Tom's.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well, he just
don't
couldn't.
do that, Skip.
You know it, and
don't
I know
do that.
it. Well, I just did it. So the point is, if he says 4 more years, I'm going to say, okay, I'm with you. And that means that Bill Belichick at some point has to make a call. Obviously, he's earned the right to prove that he could win without Tom Brady.
Well, Coach
right?
Belichick's going to circle back. He might have lost this power struggle, but you know what happens in power struggles, Skip. They just don't go away. Sometimes in a hostile takeover, Joy, you try to take over, they rebuff your bid, your offer. Guess what? You lay dormant for a little while. You pop back up on this, try another hostile takeover.
Okay, well, didn't Robert Kraft prove right in this? They're in their 8th Super Bowl. They're back again, right?
He wasn't going to cut Brady. He was always going to be right. Brady was going to be there. Coach Belichick, I believe, wanted to move on after the season, win, lose, or draw.
Okay, but if they figured a way.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Tom Brady steps off a cliff next year. Did Mr. Kraft prove right?
I don't think he will. And Mr. Kraft just saying he just won't step off a cliff. Okay. Do you think he'll step off a cliff next year?
I give him 2 more years.
For a while, you're just giving him 1 more year. I think you've edged into 2.
Look, December happened. I saw the way he played the last 4 games. It happened.
Did you see the way he played against Jacksonville?
Yeah. I saw the second half. Yeah, I did. I saw the second half. But did you see the first half?
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, well, you say he's declining then. Is that what you're saying?
Joy,
which side of the mouth are you talking out of? I don't know.
Okay,
It feels so strange to talk about the end of the Brady-Belichick era, though.
Well, they're going to be friendly enemies. And by the way, they're at war with you. I don't care what you say. There's tension between them. I know they hugged at the end of the Jacksonville game, but it's friendly enemies.
Those egos will get you every time.
You ain't see that imaginary knife when he hugged him? Coach Belichick put in his back?
You'd
I
be
thought
right
it was
about that.
You're like, yeah, you
hug.
make me sick.
It's like the hug you keep a little air in between, you know? No mercy. Last week, a radio host on WEEI in Boston called Tom Brady's daughter, quote, an annoying little pissant after her appearance in Brady's Facebook documentary. Brady has a weekly appearance on the station, and yesterday he cut short an interview because of those comments. Let's take a listen.
I've tried to come on this show for many years with and showed you guys a lot of respect. I've always tried to come on and, do a good job for you guys. So, it's very disappointing when you hear that, certainly with my daughter or any child. I'll obviously evaluate whether I want to come on this show again. So I really don't have much to say this morning.
That's fine. I understand. That's totally fine.
I will, maybe I'll speak with you guys some other time.
Absolutely fine. We understand.
Have a good day.
All right, Tom, you too.
The radio host has been suspended by the station, but yesterday Brady said he did not want to see him get fired. Shannon, do you like how Tom handled the situation?
I do love how he handled it, but not to belabor the point, all our viewing public that hear us now, just go back and Google some of the things shock jocks or whatever they're called on WEEI has said over the course of the years, and you'll get a sense to why Tom did what he did. Skip, normally I had a radio show when I played. And normally, Skip, it never gets, they ask you, okay, well, what do you need to do this week?
Yep.
Maybe they ask you if you got something, if you're promoting something else, you talk about that. But they never go into your kids. Now, Tom had just signed an extension with the radio show.
The team had, too.
Yeah. Of the week before. Mm-hmm. Now, Tom probably makes good money, Skip. Real good money to come on there, spend 5-7 minutes once a week and be done with it. And for you to bring his kid into it. Now, if you want to talk with Tom, what were you thinking when you make this documentary? What were you hoping to project? But the daughter is saying, I think it was about soccer. She wants her dad to come to see her play soccer or go outside and play soccer with us.
Come see her play.
Yeah, and then you leap to the conclusion that a child is, and you call him that. And how did you think he was going to respond? Now, Tom handled it. Tom, he's got to put on a brave face. I think deep down Tom wants to see him but he can't say that publicly because he doesn't want, the guy got fired because Tom Brady called for his job. Tom's going to say, look, I don't want the guy to be fired. I don't think anybody should have to go through what I went through. Nobody should, a child, not my child, or anyone's child, should have to be subjected to what, he said about my daughter. But, Skip, why would you, that's Tom. First of all, you never even if Tom throws 5 interceptions, you never say, Tom, you had a bad game. Basically, they come on there, Skip, like, what do you think you guys, where did you guys lose this game? What do you think you guys need to do moving forward? Mm-hmm. That's normally how it goes. It's not that type of an interview where you're coming on, you don't know what to expect. Tom knows what to expect. You know what to expect by him coming on. Mm-hmm. And for him to go in this direction, that was way, 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 way too low. And I'm glad Tom handled it the way he did. I'd have MF'd him and then I'd have held him.
Okay, but remember, I'm not sure you have the chronology right. The commentator in question said this on last Thursday night, and he's just a contributor on this Kirk and Callahan show, but he wasn't involved in this interview.
Right.
So he said it last Thursday, and it sounds like by Friday he was already suspended. Right. So by Monday when Tom came on, I don't know if he'd been made aware that he was suspended already.
What could you say, Skip? What do you think you can say in Boston, in a public forum, about Tom Brady's kids, his wife, his parents, or anything that's not going to get back to Tom Brady?
I would agree with that, especially on the radio station that is a quote-unquote partner of the Patriots. I have been there and done this before. I've been on a radio station that was a partner with the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, and I've been on a newspaper in Chicago that was part of the ownership of the Chicago Cubs.
Right.
So I know how it goes.
Yes.
I know how it feels. You should be able to say whatever you want about Tom's performance on the field.
Absolutely.
If you think he was garbage, say he was garbage, and that's just fine.
Right.
But but this should be for anybody anywhere. This is just an out-of-bounds cheap shot that I don't get in the first place.
Right.
Like, it could be on another radio station, and I wouldn't really get it.
No.
Because this feels, to me, like more Brady hate, like this guy has some resentment of Brady. He doesn't like the whole documentary presentation.
Well, that seems more personal and hate than what I'm saying.
Way more. I would totally agree with you. So there was some inference that it felt staged. Well, yeah, it's staged. They got cameras set up all the house. So Brady and Giselle, they're dressed up. You know, they know they're on camera, right? It's not like candid camera.
Right.
They know.
Right.
And are the kids made aware? Well, she's 5 years old. She doesn't know what's going on. And so she's over on the stairs.
Right.
And you just see a flash of her.
Right.
So I don't know how annoying that was. She's just being a little 5-year-old girl. She's just saying, basically, Daddy, you're going to come watch me play soccer?
Right.
Yep, I'm going to come, or whatever it was,
Right.
you know? Okay.
And that's the thing. That's what Giselle is up against. Skip.
Yes.
That's why she wants
and
to.
You know what? She probably was a driving force behind this. Like,
Right.
Tom, what are you doing?
Right.
You can't participate in this.
Yeah, kids always off limits. Skip, look, I've been in the locker room and people have and guys would bring their kids and some, didn't behave like they should. But that's look. You don't bother people, kids, and you don't bother the, wives and family. You stay away from that, Skip. Now, if you want to fight, let me tell you something. If you want to fight, you have. Now, Tom Brady handled it with class. Now, a brother, on the other hand, might have had something else to say about it. He might have had to meet up with him and talk to him about it.
Especially when it's daddy's little girl. That's what it's like, whoa.
My kids, my kids off limits.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to see some furniture moving, talk about my kids, and we're going to move some furniture.
Okay, I got you. So he did handle it
as well as he could.
Professionally, I
Yes.
guess. And he kind of left it open at the end. I'm just going to guess that he'll eventually next year come back and do the show. I'm going to guess.
He'll be probably making $500,000 to come on
I don't
7 minutes a Monday, 20 weeks a season.
I will agree, when he does go on, he tries for him, because he gives the reporters at Foxborough, he gives them nothing. Right? Those post-game things are just, they're not even worth watching.
Right.
But this, we always get our best stuff from this, right?
He tries. He tries to be engaging. He tries to offer a little more insight than what he does at the podium. Skip, when he gets up to the podium and he does this, you already know.
It's over. It's just over. Like he is trying hard not to say anything.
Right.
It's like a game. It's almost like game conditions. My goal here is to not say anything to you.
Remember, Skip? LeBron did not have a problem with LeVar Ball saying anything about him.
That's a good example.
When he mentioned the Bronny, that's when LeBron say dad to dad.
Because
real talk.
The idea was the kids aren't going to be able to be, if the namesake kids especially won't be as good as the dad.
That's no secret. You talk about an all-time great player. If I think Babe had a daughter, but if he had a son, how do you have a son that's going to go hit 800 home runs? Or how does Barry Bonds' son, or how does an all-time great player, how does Peyton Manning's son top what Peyton Manning did?
I don't know.
That's asinine to even think that.
But I will say this, from what I've seen so far, LeBron's son, he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah. But I mean,
he's probably not going to be his father. Because it would be very rare to be your father.
I mean, you don't get that. I mean, you look at Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was a good player. I mean, Bobby Bonds, Barry's dad, was a very good player.
He was.
I mean, Ken Griffey's dad was a good player. Big Red Machine.
That's the reverse, where the kid just dwarfed him.
The kids dwarfed the dad.
They did.
And so I get it.
So, bottom line to this, I appreciated the fact that last night he said, I don't want to see him fired, and because he's just a contributor on their show, and I think he has a weekend. I don't even know what it is, but he's not part of this show.
Right.
So does he deserve to be fired? I think he got called back from Minneapolis, so he's suspended for the week.
Yes.
Okay.
But even though you might only have a podcast, so you only have a snippet.
Yeah.
You're a representation.
You are. I agree.
And so that's what you have to be mindful of. And Tom, this guy, he said it. He wasn't even on the show. So it just goes to show you how upset Tom Brady was. Even though neither one of these guys said it, he's like, I'm going to end the conversation because it was said on your network. So I'm done until I can, sort through this. I think he had heard this before, and he had ample time to calm down.
He did.
Because I believe if he had heard it and he was on that very day, he might have had a different take.
I agree.
Or maybe he wouldn't even called in at all.
That is
to
correct.
give some time to cool off.
I'm with you.
No mercy. The Patriots are now just a 4-point favorite over the Eagles in Sunday's Super Bowl. Shannon, how do you explain this?
Well, I think the thing is, history tells us, with the last year's Super Bowl notwithstanding, no matter how good the Patriots have been, no matter how bad the opposing team that they think have been, these games have been inside of 4 points, Skip. And so they're looking at that. Now, $20 bets here and there, Vegas don't really care about that.
No.
It's when these whales come in and they put $500, $750, $1 million. Now, there's this better X. Now, Vegas says he's responsible for them losing $11 million during the World Series.
He got hot.
He's coming in dropping $1 million.
Yep.
And here's the thing. He's taking them at $1 million to win straight up. So not only does he get his $1 million back, he get $1.65 million of their money. That's what will mess with your quarterly earnings. That's what will drive that line down.
Yep.
That's why it's come down. $20 bets, $100 bets, they don't move the line. You start getting those six-figure bets, that $1 million, that line's coming down, Skip. And so that's what we're seeing is that whales are coming in. They don't care about no Eagles. They don't care about, oh, I'd hate that. Guys that bet for a living, Skip, they don't let their feelings play into this. They don't say, oh, I hate Tom Brady, so I'm going to bet $1 million of my money, and then he's going to lose. That's not how they do it.
Occasionally that happens, but not consistently, yeah.
Joey and I might bet like that, but when you bet big-time dollars, I ain't betting because, oh, I want them to lose, and so this is why I'm going to bet my money. No. My money means something to me.
At the rate this is going, those Eagles are going to have to take off those underdog masks because we're heading toward Pickett.
You think
right?
it'll be inside of 3?
It might finish inside of 3. It just might. And I'm going to say this again. I am not laughing at anyone who is picking or betting on the Eagles because they're no joke.
Yeah.
They're no fluke.
They're a good team.
Hey, they're a better overall football team than the Patriots. But the Patriots have the better coach and the better quarterback.
Yep.
But in this case, Nick Foles is much better than Blake Bortles. And Blake Bortles wasn't bad, but Nick Foles is pretty good.
And he's better than Mariota.
Yeah. Oh, way better than Mariota. But what Nick Foles did to the #1 ranked, what did we just hear from Todd Gurley?
Yeah.
Oh, man, Minnesota. Because
defense.
they just shut him down
Yeah.
and they shut Jared Goff down. And Nick Foles just went up and down the field against that after they fell behind 7-0. And then what happened? Whoosh,
Explosion.
right? So will he complete a bunch of passes against the Patriots? Well, everybody does because it's ultimate bend but don't break. Can they get it in the end zone?
That's the question.
I don't know. But what is the secret to beating Tom Brady, which is no secret at all? It's to collapse the middle of the pocket and make him move. Fletcher Cox said it last. I was watching NFL Network, and he got interviewed by, I can't remember if it was Dion or Michael, but one of them, and he just laid it right on the table. We all know the secret. We got to get to him, make him move, get him off his spot. Who is the ultimate get you off your spot guy? It's that guy. Is Fletcher Cox?
Yeah, he's the preeminent D tackle. He and Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
They can do
I
some
know,
damage.
Maybe Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
I will give you that. But this guy is collapsing pockets. And when he collapses, that wide 9, all of a sudden it gets like this, and then people are coming off the edge, and they're going to have a hard time protecting Tom Brady. Well, what's happened every time Tom Brady could not be protected? At Denver in the AFC Championship game, what happened? They lost.
And the 2 Super Bowl
The
losses.
2 Super Bowls. So anybody with half a brain and a pocket full of cash is saying, well, wait a second. I kind of like the Eagles' chances here, especially if you give me 4 or 5.5 where it opened.
Yeah.
So I get that because, again, the receivers are a little better than Brady's receivers. The running backs are a little better than Brady's running backs. What's not to like? And the defense, back to Pro Football Focus yesterday, ranks the top, ranks every player in the Super Bowl, but of the top 20, 14 are Eagles, and 10 of those are on defense.
Yeah.
Well, the defense is no joke, man.
It's special. And you know what, Skip? Collapsing the pocket and getting Brady off his mark is fine, but the best way to beat Tom is to keep him on the sideline.
Okay.
The Eagles need to, when they have the ball, make sure they get points, preferably touchdowns at the end of those drives. Because what we saw with Jacksonville and some of these other teams is that they have the ball, they possess the ball 4 or 5 minutes, and they come away empty-handed.
Yep.
You've done nothing. You've got to put separation because the momentum's going to swing. You're going to have it. The Patriots are going to have it. You better put as much separation between you and them as you possibly can, and that still might not be enough. You better be ready to play 60 minutes.
Yeah, and to your point, what's the most incredible aspect of Tom Brady and Belichick's 5 Super Bowl victories? They're all close. They all went to the wire except for the other Eagles game.
Yes.
Where it was close for a minute later in the game. I mean, it wasn't a blowout.
Right. It was 24-21, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
But the thing is, this is what you know. To play them, and this is what makes them so unbelievable, is that they know how to win the close games. And that's when the pressure starts to mount. Late in the fourth quarter, Skip, and the game is 3 points here or it's tied there, they know how to win those type of games.
And
So-
you can't make mistakes.
So do they have David Tyree somewhere on this roster? I don't know. They might need him.
Yeah.
Well-
Aguilar might come through.
Maybe with a helmet
I know
cap,
you
like a
picked
face
the
mask.
Patriots, but I think the closer that we inch towards
I ain't put my
Friday.
money. I tell you, I ain't put my money on the Eagles.
No.
I might, how you know I ain't better at?
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, 1 of 1.